Hey everybody, it's Optimus 1971 and I'm back, and today I'm actually going to go out, find some iron. I did a little scouting and then we had a server crash, but I do know where some iron is at, so I'm actually going to head out there to go get it. There's some silicone, cobalt, and iron that are all sea level, above ground, whatever you want to call it. And I had these all marked, but then like I said, the server crashed, so I'm not sure which one is where. But right now I just want iron so I can start building the gist of the basic base so I can have a place to move everything. So we're going to record until the sun goes down. I'm not sure how long that's going to be at this point, but we're going to bring out our drill and it should populate here in a moment or two. Silicon. So I'm going to go ahead and mark this. And I changed how I was going to mark them since I'm on the planet. Sometimes you need to be able to identify where something is quick, so I started doing a numbering scheme with my GPS coordinates, which they've all been undone for these, but these have managed to keep. So since I might have so many, I just did 4 digits. I doubt I'm going to hit 1,000, but just in case, so I don't have to go back and renumber them again. So this is silicon. So we're going to create a new GPS coordinate. We're going to grab that, and we're just going to name it 0003 SI for silicon. So I can identify it fairly easy. Now these out here that are above ground are usually in little piles like that, so it makes them fairly easy to find. And I believe there's another one over in this area. I wish the server hadn't crashed. Oh, yep, here's 2 of them. Because I didn't spend a real long time, but it's an annoyance when that happens. And we'll check both of these. And right now, like I said, I'm just going to harvest some iron. I need to build a small ship and get a drill. There we go. Well, now we've got a spot for iron, and I'm going to go ahead and mark this. This is just so I can find it super quick, is all this is for. And we're going to 0004. FE for iron, and we'll close that out. And I've got my drill out, and we've discussed how this is done. The iron is not immediately exposed, so we're going to right click. Oh, now see, that's another one of those server glitch things. I just got thrown up in the air. I'm glad I have a jetpack on, because that could have been devastating. That threw me up in the air, and if I didn't have any hydrogen, which I only have 24% left, that's not a whole lot. Yeah, that's one of those server glitches where it just, there was a collision and it pushed me clear back, and so let's just aim up instead of down in case that was the cause. And I just want to expose some of this red area. So we can see the iron. Yeah, well, when I crashed yesterday, it took my hydrogen bottle with me, and that was a huge pain. Okay, it looks like the iron comes up quite a bit. I'm just going to see if there's... Yep, there we go. Be careful, you don't want to obliterate all the iron when you're doing this. Okay, now we're going to left click, which that's going to produce chunks. And I'm going to go ahead and grab stone right now and the iron. And there's only so much of these floating things that can stick out. So if you don't pick them up, they will disappear. If you want to get a couple shots in there, that's fine. But just got to remember to pick them up, because if you just sit there and just drill and drill and drill, you're just wasting your time, because they're going to disappear just as fast. And this is kind of jittery with the moving around. I'm not sure what's going on there. Tiny little stone getting away. I can't even aim to get it. Now my volume right now is only 995 liters, so I can... Here, we're just gonna... Please don't throw me up in the air again. I can carry up to 4,000 liters of physical storage size. Uh-oh, got a message coming in. I'll have to check that out here in a little bit. Now I want to see how much of this stuff that I can get while I still got daylight. Like I said, I want to build a vehicle, something I can drive back and forth, and I can put storage on it. That way I can carry a lot more back in one shot. Not to mention I won't have the usage, or I won't have to use hydrogen up, because it's like I said, on this planetary service, hydrogen, you go through it pretty quick. I have 20% left, so I'm only going to fly part way back. Alright, that gives me really close to 3,000 liters, so let's just get back, turn on the jetpack, and let's see, I gotta watch that. Oh, there we go, I'm down to 4%. See how quickly you go through that? And before I even got it shut off, I was down to 2%. So if you got a tank on you, it refills your tank that's on your backpack, which that'll do that several times. So carrying an actual hydrogen tank with you, you can fly around for a lot further. So if you get a couple of them, you can fly around for quite a while, but it burns through. Now if you're in outer space to where you're low on there's no gravitational pull, so it's just purely on mass, and it pushes you around and lasts a long time. In fact, very seldom do I ever run out while I'm in outer space. So I'm going to run back as fast as I can to the refinery. I'm going to dump this in the refinery and turn the refinery on. Right now I've got it turned off just because the power consumption, the uranium that I got didn't produce a whole lot, so I need to go back another uranium run. But until I get something to clear things out a little bit better, it's going to be a little while. But I do need to get, I need a lot. Platinum, I found out, may not be indigenous to the planet side, at least not on this planet. Alright, we'll get some iron. And looks like I'm going to have to reset the game. See how it's not showing up over here, even though I transferred it. Restarting the game usually takes care of that. And I'm going to come over here and I'm going to dump these things into the assembler. And yeah, see, I can't even grab things out of that. When that happens, usually it's a communication issue with the server. So before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to turn the refinery on. I'm going to just type up here and search, and I'm going to turn the block back on. There, you should be able to hear it kick in. So, and then we're going to hit F5, and this will actually go back and then reconnect to the multiplayer game. But since the server constantly runs, my refinery will keep running while it's doing this, and it usually takes a little bit to reconnect. So while that's happening, I am going to read my messages. Make sure I'm back in my med bay. There we go. Oh, playing hard. All right. Oh. Tell me you're going to smooth back out. What's going on there? Thank you. Old graphical itch. Alright, the refinery's had plenty of time to run. It should be empty. Which, if we look in the bottom, say we got 3.76K. So, but I can move all that to the assembler. And then I can go to the production tab up here. And then I can say, look, I want steel plates. And if I hold shift and click, it'll produce 100 at a time. Oh, but it's turned off right now, so I need to go to control panel, and then we'll go to the assembler, and we're going to turn it on. And then I'm going to go back to the refinery and turn that one back off. At least until I get something to go back. Let's turn on some lights there a little bit. It's a little dark in here. Now there again, since I have a conveyor system that we discussed previously, these two are connected through a conveyor system. I can actually pull everything from the assembler, and I can pull everything through the refinery door, because they are connected there. It's made 300 pieces, which is what I want, for starters. Uh-oh. That's right, I had to make a hydrogen tank because of that server glitch. And the oxygen generator is turned off too. Now, we're going to come out here. We're going to put it a little bit away from the ship. We're going to hit G. And that'll bring up the tab. Now, as an engineer, you know everything there is to build. You know how to build everything in the game. What you don't have is the materials to do it. And that's the most important thing, is gathering those materials. So in this case, we're going to build what's known as a station. It's not made to move. The ships are made to move. And let's see if I can get a little bit lower. I'm going to use one of these divots from a crashed ship. And so then it'll actually make it nice and level with the ground. I'm hoping. We're going to find out if it's going to block that or not. Okay, good. Is it going to keep doing that? It is. So at that point, I just hit it to the square. You'll see that I have down there is in my toolbar at the bottom. It's a 3, and that brings up the square. Now, what you are seeing is literally just the frame. And the basic ones you only need steel plates to build. And with that, and with our welder, you just click and hold. Well, do it in the middle. And then it finishes that off. And then if we do that from here to the side, then you get a better view. And it looks like it takes 25 total steel plates. And I think it takes 1 to put down, maybe. Here, we'll find out how many that takes to put down. It's 25 total. So 1 to lay it down, I think, and then it's another 24 then to basically fill it in. Come on. There we go. And as long as they're all the same colors, which I have a default color. And there's 2 ways to change colors. But if everything's the same color, you'll see that the creases... Uh-oh, did something not finish? Wonder why that one's showing this edge. Normally it doesn't show that edge like that. There we go. I don't know if this is the server being laggy or what. Now if I want, while I've got this tool out here, that, like I said, it's going to show me roughly where the block be, or if I want to stack it up a little bit higher, that's okay too. Now I'm actually just going to build the frame here on out. I don't want to build over the floor. It'll take a lot of time to do that, and then I can fill it in as I need it. Right now I need as much steel plates to build the basic structure that I want, because I can put all my stuff in it, and I can do whatever I want. And I don't need to fill it in. Like I said, I can go back and do that later. But if I want to change the color of the block, I'm going to show you that real quick. I'm going to hit the letter P while I've got the block out, and then you can select any one of the colors down here if you want, white, whatever. And let's just go with well, my favorite color is blue. I like a little bit darker blue. But then you've got the slider up here, so you can actually literally slide right through the different major colors. Then you've got your saturations, which is going to send it down to grayscale, or really enhance the colors. And I'm not sure exactly what value specific or their value system is. I'm not into the different color tones and how to describe those. Or I can pick some default colors. And let's just stick with red. Red's a good color. And once you click on OK, then your block stays that color, so you know what color it's going to be. But when you place it down, boom, it is not that color until we finish filling in the rest of the block. Then it turns that color. Now, one of the big things a lot of people were asking that I saw in a lot of videos and in forums is, how do you change a block that's of existing color? The only way I knew how to do it was tear the block out and put a new one in. Well, you don't have to do that. We can go back to, we're going to pull out a block. You can actually use any block as long as it's something that's color. And actually, we might be able to, yeah, you don't even have to do that. We're going to choose green. So even if we pick another block now, you'll see how it's green. Now, whatever color or whatever block you're on, if it's touching that face and you have your cursors pointed at it, I know if you hit your mouse wheel button, it should be a click. There you go. And then it changes it for you automatically. So it's real easy. But if you've actually changed the value of that green, so it's still green, but it's not the same shade. So we're going to show you that real quick. And then you pick on a different color. This was a gripe too. It's like, how do you get back to that color? That one's actually real easy. While your cursor is facing it, look at your midpoint and make sure that's facing that. And if you hit Shift P, and it grabs that color of that block. And if I move it over here and I do Shift P, it'll grab the original color of that block. And then it's real easy then to pick those colors. And then I can go back and I can then change the colors of every one of those blocks. Now, the other thing I can do, you can color wider areas. If I hold, is it Control Shift or Shift click? No. Control click? No. It's Control Shift. Yeah, there you go. It's Control Shift Center button on the mouse. So glad I remembered how to do that after clicking on it half a dozen times. Let's get these off for now. So I'm going to go ahead and keep working. We're going to build a small area, and I'm not a big fan. Not a big fan of the green, so we're going to go ahead and build out an area. The refinery is a 2x2 ground floor area, and I'm going to get into a little bit more about the refinery later. But I got to leave some spaces on either side of it. Specifically, you can make it more efficient, and efficiency is key. Let's see. There, that'll hide that divot there too, so it'll make it look a little bit nicer. How big of a room do we want to make? I'm gonna make 2 rooms, and this is just more for an aesthetic application, not for a functional application. I'm going to make a medical bay. Woohoo, come on. Oh, it's just a little server lag there. I'm going to make a server bay, and then I'm also going to make a utility bay, which is, I'm going to leave enough room for 2 refineries, and then I'll be able to expand that later. So right now, I'm not going to put any doors up or anything. But I tell you what I am going to do. I am going to grab one of those hydrogen tanks. I know temporary ship will get removed after I leave, and that stinks when that happens. So we're going to grab one of these full hydrogen tanks. Oh, and I'm still got my helmet on. I've been slowly losing the oxygen. I've got oxygen in the tank, which is not a big deal, but the fact that it's a breathable atmosphere, so I don't need to keep that on there. Eventually you'll start to suffocate. Alright, I don't really have a preference on direction, but we'll have a main door on here eventually. But I do need to, we're going to switch. You can actually switch your toolbars down at the bottom. Right now we're on the first set of toolbars, and there's a second set of toolbars. There's third, fourth. I've already populated things previously on this server. Normally they're all blank, and you can then add things. Now I'm actually holding down Control, and I'm pressing which toolbar I want. And if you can see it, you'll see they're numbered 1 through 9 at the top. So that makes it convenient so that we can have some of the more common ones stored on there. In this case, I've got a pillar. So what I want to do is I want to just real quick. Oh, and I need interior plates for that. I don't know if I have any interior plates. Interior plates are still all just iron. A lot of the basic things are made out of iron, but if I've got some made up, I'm not gonna. I don't know that I do, and I've got 20 interior plates, but oh, conveyor system. Oh, it still works. Good. I don't know how much that's going to use. We're going to find out. But I know for what I want that's how much space the actual refinery is going to take for one of them. Now, but I need another section, which I'm going to leave this open right here. So this way I know it's a 2x3 area that the total refinery is going to take. The main refinery, like I said, is just 2x2. And then there's efficiency modules. There's modules that I can add to those, and they'll take up an additional 2 spaces. So I just want to make sure I have enough space, and I want to be able to put in 2 of them. So I'm going to make sure that I have the same amount for 2 sets. So, and then if I want to make sure that I have an outside wall, like I said, more for aesthetics. There's no creatures on here that's going to attack, and that's usually a huge plus. But you can turn them on. I've run out of steel plates.